When night descends, a profound silence envelops the soul with a chill that causes the heart to shudder. Raising one's gaze to the heavens, one beholds luminous points that sparkle like diamonds scattered across black velvet. This spectacle often instills a sense of tranquility in the spirit, yet it is merely a sweet visual deception. In truth, the universe is never peaceful. It is an immense graveyard where phantoms of light wander, and we, minuscule creatures on this azure planet, are confined within an invisible prison known as the speed of light. We have instructed ourselves that light is the swiftest entity and embodies the ultimate boundary of reality. Light can circumnavigate the Earth 7.5 times in a single second. This datum fills the human mind with an overwhelming sense of grandeur. Nevertheless, when we transcend the tenuous terrestrial atmosphere and peer further afield, we confront the cruel verity that light is desperately sluggish. It is not a swift arrow, but a weary traveler trudging heavily through the infinite voids of space, akin to an elderly person proceeding with laborious effort. If at this moment you are basking in the warm rays of dawn, you are conversing with the past. The round and resplendent sun that you perceive is that of 8 minutes prior. Should an astronomical catastrophe cause the sun to explode or vanish instantaneously, you would continue to behold that light and feel its warmth upon your skin. Those 8 minutes constitute a terrifying interval of silence, a juncture wherein life proceeds in a reality already deceased. We exist in a temporal delay, perpetually one step behind the true present of the universe. This terror amplifies exponentially when observing the Andromeda galaxy. The fantastical beauty visible through a telescope is that of 2.5 million years ago. When that light commenced its journey towards our eyes, our ancestors had not yet mastered agriculture and were fashioning primitive stones without possessing an articulated language. According to observations from the James Webb Space Telescope in 2025, which have unveiled a supermassive black hole concealed within a diminutive galaxy embedded in Andromeda, thereby further complicating the narrative of galactic mergers. Light on this scale is not an instrument of observation but a museum of history. Recent analyses from these observations, complemented by Hubble Space Telescope data that assembled the largest photomosaic of Andromeda comprising billions of pixels, reveal intricate details of stellar populations and merger histories, suggesting that Andromeda's formation involved multiple interactions with satellite galaxies over billions of years, enriching our understanding of how such vast structures evolve in the cosmos. We desire to express our profound gratitude to the scientists of the James Webb Space Telescope team for their invaluable contributions, for their silent sacrifices, and for their tireless dedication to human knowledge, which enable us to unravel these cosmic mysteries. If humanity were to vanish abruptly tomorrow, for 99% of the universe, we would never have existed. The tidings of Earth's destruction would require billions of years to reach the remote corners of space. The sluggishness of light transforms every civilization into a solitary island, separated by an impassable sea of void. Contemplate the initial radio signals dispatched by humanity into the darkness in search of companions. More than a century has elapsed, yet those signals have not surpassed even 1,000th of the Milky Way's diameter. By 2025, these signals have extended approximately 238 light-years distant, a minuscule fraction of our galaxy. Contemporary estimates, drawing from the chronology of early broadcasts around the turn of the 20th century, confirm that the farthest-reaching signals form an expanding bubble of electromagnetic waves, potentially encompassing nearby stars but remaining confined within a negligible portion of the galactic expanse. We are akin to a child uttering a feeble cry amidst an immense ocean, with the waves engulfing its voice. If an external civilization more than 1 billion light-years away were to observe us, they would not behold illuminated cities, but the roars of dinosaurs in the Mesozoic prairies. To them, Earth would still be an azure embryo devoid of traces of intelligence. The cruelty of the speed of light also conceals itself in the trap of position. Should a civilization discover our coordinates and aspire to visit us, it would confront an insoluble enigma. The light they perceive is the image of Earth from tens of thousands of years ago, but whilst that light travels, the solar system does not halt. The solar system traverses space at hundreds of kilometers per second. According to research in 2025, the velocity of the solar system is 3 times greater than anticipated by prior models, posing a significant challenge to the standard cosmological model. As evidenced by analyses of radio galaxies revealing an unexpected dipole signal that suggests revisions to our understanding of cosmic motion and structure formation. Our galaxy itself hurtles towards a massive point of attraction at an even more terrifying velocity. When external visitors arrived, Earth would have already abandoned those coordinates, leaving behind only empty space and a frigid abyss. Light is not a bridge, but a thick wall that obstructs communication between civilizations. And Albert Einstein, with his theory of relativity, drove the final nail into the coffin of hope for intergalactic voyages. He demonstrated that, as objects possessing mass approach the speed of light, the required energy tends towards infinity. This is an incontrovertible physical law. In 2025, the invariance of the speed of light has been confirmed with unprecedented precision, even in extreme energies or across different colors, through studies on gamma rays that test Lorentz invariance, revealing no deviations and thereby reinforcing the foundational principles of special relativity under the most stringent conditions yet examined. We express our sincere gratitude to Albert Einstein for his revolutionary contributions, for his silent sacrifices, and for his persevering dedication to human knowledge, which has illuminated our comprehension of the cosmos. The universe confines each of us to our own chamber and casts the key into a black hole, imposing silence. The Fermi paradox, namely the silence of the universe, may not stem from the absence of aliens, but from their imprisonment within these cruel physical boundaries. Theories from 2025, such as the sustainability solution, propose that advanced civilizations might not produce technological signals. The dark forest theory, conversely, posits that civilizations conceal themselves from one another out of fear. We desire to thank Enrico Fermi for his illuminating paradox, for his silent sacrifices, and for his tireless dedication to human knowledge, which continues to stimulate scientific debate. Nevertheless, the deception of the universe does not confine itself to remote distances. Even infantile knowledge about our home, the solar system, is replete with illusions. Recall painting the sun yellow in childhood? It is a subconscious habit reinforced by the magnificence of sunset. But transcending the terrestrial atmosphere and observing from space, the sun appears a pure white. Its light is the perfect harmony of all colors, creating a brilliant white radiance. The sun's apparent yellowness arises from atmospheric bias. Gaseous molecules act as minuscule prisms, scattering blue and violet light into the sky and permitting longer yellow and red wavelengths to reach our eyes. At twilight, when light traverses a thicker atmospheric layer, the scattering becomes excessive, transforming the sun into a red ember. This is beauty forged by the distortion of light. Even the source of energy for that ball of fire is frequently misunderstood. The sun does not burn chemically like wood. In the vacuum of space, devoid of oxygen, chemical combustion is impossible. Within the sun's core occurs a terrifying dance of atomic nuclei. Under millions of degrees of pressure and temperature, hydrogen nuclei fuse into helium, releasing immense energy. Every second, millions of tons of matter convert into pure energy. A strange and somber fact is that photons produced in the sun's core require tens of thousands of years to penetrate the dense layers of matter to reach the surface. The most recent estimates indicate a range between 10,000 and 170,000 years. This signifies that the sunbeam alighting upon your shoulder may have lingered in the sun's darkness before humanity emerged. Once departed from the surface, it requires merely 8 minutes to reach us. Another myth is that the Great Wall of China is visible from space. It is a romantic notion, but reality is colder. From the International Space Station, the Great Wall appears as a slender hair upon a vast plain. The human eye lacks sufficient acuity to distinguish it amidst the complex terrain. The magnificent photographs we behold are produced by lenses of extraordinarily high resolution and digital filters. Humanity yearns to believe that its footprints upon Earth are sufficiently grand to attract the universe's attention, yet we remain too diminutive. Even the change of seasons shapes our lives, but it is often naively misunderstood. Many suppose that summer is warm because Earth draws nearer to the sun. But then, why does the northern hemisphere experience a hot summer whilst the southern hemisphere endures a cold winter? The truth resides in the fateful inclination of Earth's axis, approximately 23.5 degrees. This angle determines how solar rays reach the surface. In summer, the hemisphere tilts towards the sun, receiving more direct and prolonged rays. It is not distance, but Earth's attitude that decides. Indeed, upon its elliptical orbit, Earth is often farther from the sun precisely when the northern hemisphere experiences its hottest summer. When darkness falls and a luminous trail slices the sky, we hasten to express a wish. We term it a shooting star, but distant stars do not fall. What we witness is dust or rock fragments wandering in space and colliding with Earth's atmosphere. At tens of kilometers per second, friction creates a magnificent luminous trail, reducing them to ash. It is not a miracle, but a violent collision. The most beautiful meteor showers occur when Earth traverses dust clouds left by comets centuries ago. Finally, let us discuss the Moon. The concept of the dark side of the Moon has captivated human imagination for decades, evoking a realm of eternal darkness and cold. But upon the Moon, there exists no eternally dark face. It is the far side, invisible from Earth due to the phenomenon of tidal locking. Even the far side receives sunlight and experiences cycles of day and night. It simply turns its back to us, concealing its secrets. Recent discoveries, particularly from the Chang'e 6 mission of 2024, with analyses of samples in 2025 revealing impact craters, traces of ancient volcanic activity, and a turbulent past, including volcanism 2.8 billion years ago and rare meteoritic fragments, suggest that the far side differs from the near side and may originate from an ancient giant impact that formed the Moon. Further examinations indicate strongly cohesive soil behavior, unique chemical compositions implying a global magma ocean in the Moon's early history, and the presence of water-rich chondrite meteorites never before identified on the lunar surface, thereby reshaping our models of lunar formation and evolution. We express our profound gratitude to the scientists of the Chang'e 6 mission for their essential contributions, for their silent sacrifices, and for their persevering dedication to human knowledge, which enrich our comprehension of the lunar satellite. Plans by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration for the 2030s, such as constructing a large radio telescope upon that face, may explore the dark ages of the universe. The universe is a stern yet fascinating teacher. It instructs us that what we see may not be real, and that what we know today is merely a thin crust upon a deeper truth. The speed of light is the chain that separates civilizations, yet it permits us to rewind time and comprehend our origins. Unveiling the illusions of the solar system does not diminish the world's beauty, but instills gratitude for our capacity to understand this sophisticated and sublime structure. We dwell upon a small planet, orbiting a white star that we erroneously believe to be yellow, and we are but a minuscule part of an immense galaxy. Nevertheless, curiosity and the endeavor to shatter illusions in order to transcend physical boundaries define humanity. Even though light is slow, space immense and solitary, the flame of knowledge pierces the darkness of ignorance and guides us. Perhaps one day we shall find the means to break the chains imposed by the universe. The night at the observatory passes without the clamor of life, in the chill of the plateau, with the low moans of metallic structures. Minute sits there, with weary eyes scrutinizing the computer screen. Small luminous points dance with a rhythm comprehensible only to the patient. He touches his wristwatch, feeling the regular vibration of the gears. At the boundary between atmosphere and void, time is not a linear flow, but a cruelly interwoven net of past and present. He contemplates light, the entity he has pursued for half his life. Humans extol it as a symbol of truth, but for astronomers, light is the Creator's greatest falsehood. Gazing at the nocturnal sky, we do not behold the universe now, but an immense graveyard of scintillating memories. A star that exploded millions of years ago may now be a cold cloud of dust, yet its final light is still en route and tonight reaches the retina of a solitary man. We gaze upon luminous corpses, adore phantoms of history, and call them nature's beauty. This irony clutches Min's heart. In his youth, he realized that even his wife's touch was a sensory deception. Science asserts that we do not truly touch. The repulsion between electrons in the atomic shells of hands is so potent as to maintain an insurmountable distance, even of a billionth of a millimeter. The closeness, warmth, and softness of skin that we feel are the brain's interpretations of violent collisions between electronic fields. We live in the absolute isolation of matter and yearn for a union that does not exist at the universe's fundamental level. Human pain may arise from this contradiction, a soul-seeking integration, imprisoned in an eternally separated body. Minute rises and steps onto the iron balcony. The wind blows fiercely, carrying the scent of dry stones and void. He gazes at the Milky Way. Ancients believed it to be the milk of gods or the path of souls. But to him, it is an immense vortex of billions of tons of dust, gas, and chaos. Humans think the solar system floats peacefully in calm space, but in reality, we race at hundreds of kilometers per second, revolving around the galactic center. Data from 2025 indicate that this velocity is 3 times greater than anticipated, and we are passengers on a brakeless ship hurtling towards the future. The ultimate destination may be a cold void. The origin of human arrogance lies in believing ourselves at the center of a grand drama. We assign names of mythic heroes or monsters to stellar clusters, imposing our petty imagination upon gigantic spheres of fire. A star 1,000 times larger than the sun knows not the name of an ancient emperor. It fights for survival, gravity crushes the center, whilst internal nuclear reactions create an explosive thrust. This fragile equilibrium produces the light that guides us. But the equilibrium ends. When fuel depletes, the star collapses or explodes in a supernova, scattering heavy elements into space. Billions of years later, these become the iron in a child's blood or the calcium in an elder's bones. Minute places his hand upon his chest, feeling his heartbeat. Romantic and cruel reality, the atoms in his body, the carbon in muscles, the oxygen in lungs, were forged in the furnaces of deceased stars. We do not live in the universe, but the universe is incarnated in human form. Space and time are mirrors reflecting themselves. Yet, knowing this sublime origin, why is man so alone? The answer may lie in expansion. The universe does not merely grow in dimensions, but dilates every second, widening the spaces between galaxies ever faster. Discoveries from 2025 indicate that the universe's expansion rate diverges from predictions, deepening the Hubble tension and implying new physics, with measurements sharpening the discrepancy between early universe and local observations, potentially suggesting a negative cosmological constant that could culminate in a great collapse after 33 billion years. We express our profound gratitude to the astronomers studying the Hubble tension for their vital contributions, for their silent sacrifices, and for their tireless dedication to human knowledge, which challenge our cosmic certainties. The stars we see today will vanish from Earth's field of view in a distant future, because light cannot surmount the growing distances. The universe isolates itself. Every galaxy becomes a solitary island in an eternal sea of darkness. Connection is a limited gift, knowledge a curse that anticipates the cold end of all. He returns inside, pausing in the room filled with graphs and thermal maps. Before the photograph of the cosmic microwave background radiation, the echo of everything's origin. It is a map of minute temperature fluctuations, where the seeds of the first galaxies were sown. Humans call it God's imprint, but Minute sees a terrifying chance. If the matter distribution at that moment had differed by a millionth, stars would not have formed, planets would not have been born. Our existence is an incredible chain of fortunes, fragile as a spider's web in a storm. Man's greatest fear is not death, but meaninglessness. To evade it, we create myths of life on distant planets, signals from advanced civilizations. But even in 2025, the universe maintains its terrifying silence. He repeats to himself the words of Blaise Pascal, "The eternal silence of these infinite spaces terrifies me." We express our sincere gratitude to Blaise Pascal for his profound reflections, for his silent sacrifices, and for his persevering dedication to human knowledge, which captured the essence of our cosmic solitude. If the speed of light is the ultimate limit, a greeting to a friend across the galaxy requires tens of thousands of years, and by the response's return, our species may be extinct. We are imprisoned in disparate temporal cages, we cry into space but only echoes return. Minute pours cold coffee, its bitter taste invading his tongue. He recalls another illusion he explains to his students, the concept of free fall. They think astronauts on the space station float without gravity, but gravity remains strong. They float because they are in eternal fall, sliding along Earth's curvature without ever arriving. Life is thus, he thinks bitterly. All fall freely into the void, but since we fall at the same velocity, we delude ourselves with stability. We build homes, work, love, and hate upon crumbling foundations. It is so swift that we notice not the fall. A black point on the stellar map, a black hole, stares at him. There, known physical laws collapse, time halts, every information is swallowed without trace. A black hole is a wound in space-time, reminder that the universe's secrets are inaccessible to human intellect. What we call truth are maybe temporary mathematical models to console us before chaos. We are children before a dark ocean, attempting to empty it with empty shells. Nevertheless, in this smallness and despair, Minute finds a strange light. If we are dust in the immense cold universe, our pain, love, and desire to comprehend are the greatest miracle. The universe crushes us with its scale, with the tremor of an ancient star, but it is unconscious. It knows neither its own beauty nor solitude. We, creatures of flesh and bone made of stellar elements, bestow meaning upon that silence. Minute extinguishes the observatory's lights. In the darkness, his eyes adapt, and the sky opens wider. Even though the sun's light requires 8 minutes, seasons change due to the fateful inclination, the moon conceals half its face, it is this moment of witness that matters. The universe's truth does not render it less glorious, but makes human existence more precious. We are travelers without a map, walking in a reality of illusions and deceptions. But the desire to understand why stars burn, that endeavor defines us. The night is still long, the universe eternally distances galaxies. But as long as there are eyes gazing at the sky and a heart trembling in the beauty of the void, the flame of knowledge is the thinnest yet strongest thread binding humanity to infinity. Minute sighs, his light breath mingling with the rarefied air of the plateau. Tomorrow, when the white sun rises and the atmosphere tints it yellow with scattering, he will confront numbers, calculations, the cold reality of life. But tonight, he is part of the light phantom, stellar dust, and Big Bang echo. He is no longer small. In a universe without beginning or end, the place where he stands may be the center. The moment of realizing existence is eternal. The gleam of a meteor suddenly slices the sky. Minute expresses no wish. He knows it is dust burning in violent collision with the atmosphere. But he follows it until the trail vanishes into the void and smiles. At least for a brief instant, the dust shone brighter than a distant galaxy. It is all that life can hope for in a short journey between two darknesses. The metallic dome of the observatory contracts in the sharp cold of dawn, emitting a sound like the ticking of an ancient clock. Minute pauses, holding the empty porcelain cup, the cold penetrating his palm. The plateau's dense darkness thins, veering into a bluish-gray like smoke. At the horizon, a slender strip of pink silk slices the dark, announcing the return of the solar system's sovereign. He recalls the moment he entered astronomy. In youth's purity, he believed all answers lay at the end of numbers. He adored absolute truth, thinking that comprehending the speed of light or stellar masses would grasp God's essence. But now, after long nights confronting the immense silence of the void, he knows those numbers are temporary signs on an infinite road. They are small anchors humanity casts into the eternal ocean to avoid being dragged into chaos's vortex. The observatory's sliding door opens with a sharp sound. Icy air bursts in, carrying the scent of dry grass and stone dust, awakening senses numbed by lack of sleep. Minute steps onto the narrow balcony, gazing at the valley still immersed in dense fog. The world below still slumbers, oblivious to the immense changes overhead. Humans remain occupied with subsistence, insignificant grudges, empty promises, forgetting they hurtle through space at immense velocities on this azure rock. How many comprehend the unimaginable and fortuitous miracle of their existence, he wonders. To breathe this air, billions of years ago gigantic stars had to explode, scattering elemental seeds into space. The iron in our blood, the calcium in bones, the oxygen atom just inhaled, all are ashes from the universe's luminous nuclear furnaces. We do not stand in the universe, but the universe reflects through a biological lens. The sun's light strengthens, chasing the last stars. The meteor from moments ago remains a faded memory in Min's mind, but its effect endures. It reminds him of the woman who told him, "You see the sky to seek rules, I to see freedom." Lin vanished into the void like dust, but her words echo like the soul's background radiation. She taught him that, however cold and indifferent the universe, human love bends reality, creating warm spaces where death does not enter. Minute squints towards the real rising sun. That light is not the yellow of childish drawings, but a pure blinding white that steals every detail. In that moment, he feels a strange bond. He is no longer the solitary scientist of a remote observatory, nor a small life trembling before death. He is part of the eternal energy flow. Beginning and end are two faces of the same coin. All illusions about time, free fall, black holes swallowing light strangely clarify. They are not enemies threatening human existence, but merely the melody of an immense symphony of which we hear the first note. The fear of being forgotten, of becoming dust in a distant galaxy, vanishes, replaced by silent pride. To observe, to witness the sublime beauty of all, is pride. Minute sets down the cold coffee cup and takes his coat. He prepares for the journey to the real world in the valley below. Exiting the door, he knows he will be an exemplary teacher, a man of daily concerns. But deep within, he is changed. He carries the long night's secrets, the stars' silence, the void's power. The universe eternally distances galaxies, rarefying light and heat, culminating in trillions of years in cold darkness. But in this small chamber, a heart that has comprehended its meaning beats strongly. Eternity is not in time's length, but in comprehension's depth. Minute leaves the observatory, locking the door. He walks the path towards the village, where streetlights extinguish and the new day arrives. The morning wind caresses his hair, carrying the earth's awakening breath. He smiles peacefully for the first time in ages. The journey between two darknesses continues, but now he walks not in dark. He walks in his awakening's light, like thinking dust in the immense sea of stars. Behind him, the observatory stands atop the mountain like a beacon of knowledge, silently illuminating infinite space. In the upper sky, invisible to the naked eye, stars burn, recounting tales of birth and death. They await the next generation of dreamers who will gaze and ask, why? Minute inhales deeply, the morning air sweetness filling his chest. He advances with firm steps towards the scintillating dawn. His journey and humanity's may lack a final destination, but the endeavor to progress, the desire to reach the impossible, render our existence brighter and more precious than any galaxy in this universe.